Welcome and thanks for checking out or purchasing the Ace the Interview Learn SQL Basics Quickly course. This is lesson 1, which will go over kind of an introduction and talk about the tools we'll be using through the course. And I like to dive right in. So within this lesson, we will be writing our first SQL query. Some tidbits about the course is I think, my goal is just to make you a better SQL programming. And that's if you're starting with zero SQL experience or you even consider yourself a SQL expert, right? I've done a lot of SQL over the years, and I share lots of tips and tricks about how I write SQL and how I think about SQL. And I think we'll all have fun and learn something new in this course. If I quickly just go over this week's agenda, it will be this video where I talk about the agenda, and each lesson will have a video of me talking about the agenda. I will do a whiteboard discussion of relational databases, just to kind of orient ourselves as to why we might want to learn this thing called structured query language. I come back and do a second whiteboard video, even on structured query language or SQL itself. I kind of call this my mind's eye view of what SQL is, or at least what SQL queries are. And I find that I use this picture in my mind to help me write any query, right? To help me make sure I have the syntax correct and I'm approaching it from a proper perspective. So we'll do that. Our final video for this lesson will be actually there isn't much setup, but we'll use the tool that I've chosen to use for this class to import a database and do a code along demo. And I think it's important to emphasize that all of the demos that you'll see me do throughout this course will be code along demos, which means you'll get the most out of them if you're trying to type in the SQL yourself and run the query and make it work. It's likely you'll have some nagging little error that you'll have to fix. It won't go as smoothly as it will for me, or we may even see me. If I hit errors while recording videos, I usually keep them in because they're opportunities to learn. But coding along is a way for you to get practice with SQL, and that's very important. Incidentally, I forgot to mention that these whiteboards that you'll see me do, I consider them kind of related to your interview, or actually being able to communicate your SQL skills in an interview situations. If you're in an in-person interview, chances are there's a whiteboard in the room. They are great mechanisms to communicate, right? You might grab the whiteboard marker and start drawing up some SQL on the whiteboard, right? The syntax doesn't have to be perfect, but it's a great way to communicate, this is the direction I'm thinking. And, spoiler, we'll learn about from clauses eventually, and you might be able to, circle something on the whiteboard in the from clause saying, I don't think this is quite right, but this is where I would work to make that query better or improve it or something. So, there are a few other links here. I put all of these videos in addition to their individual links above. I have them all in a single YouTube playlist. Eventually, we will download the database in the final video for this lesson, and we'll use this link here to get to the SQLite DataViz tool that I plan to use for this course. And in the end, our quiz, there's a quiz for each lesson. 3 multiple choice questions, just to kind of say, hey, did I understand what we covered, and can I regurgitate some of it in terms of answering a multiple choice question? So thanks again for choosing this course or checking it out, and we'll come back and do a whiteboard on relational databases.